always, I have pulled a card from my John Holland pack, and today's card is choose wisely. So if you want to know how I pull a card, so I really just tune in. If I'm putting a card for an individual, I tune into their energy and allow a card to come up. And for these, I tune into the collective energy. And so it works in exactly the same way. And this card is interesting for this time. So it's saying, take time to think and analyze carefully. Look at the different possibilities that are in front of you. Don't be hasty just because you feel pressured. And don't be influenced by people who have no idea, expertise, or education in their area of your choices. A focused, wise decision far outweighs one made emotionally or in desperation. So I think what this card is really pointing to is that with the current situation and a gradual sort of opening up of our society again, there are some decisions we need to make, and maybe some choices you need to make, and it's asking you to tune into what you need, and don't feel like you have to do something just because the other people are doing it. That you really need to listen to yourself. You don't have to follow the herd just because everyone else is necessarily going out, or maybe you want to. So just really tune into what you feel that you need. Again, it's maybe working from home for a little bit longer, maybe sending your kids to school or not sending your kids to school if you have children. So really just listening to what your gut instinct is, and not being swayed by other people's decisions, because they're making those decisions based on different criteria. So it's just really asking you to tune in and listen to what it is that you need, and make the decisions based on that. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to start in your least favorite pose. So first of all, just bring yourself onto your knees, making your spine nice and tall. I will start in a toe pose just to release the back line of the body. So I know it's uncomfortable. We're going to do 1 minute if we can manage it, and no more than that, because at the moment we are a little bit tighter than normal. We're not moving around the same, so I know it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for you guys. So you want to start just tucking your toes under, making sure all the toes are tucked under in the proper way, so all the toes are onto the ground. And then just gently letting yourself come back onto your heels. Make your spine nice and tall. Trying to allow your shoulders to relax. Take some really deep breaths. So the only way to get through this pose is really through breathing. So really big inhales and exhales. You're doing really well. Stay with it. We've got a couple more breaths to go. One more. One big inhale. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Release the toes, tuck them under, give them a little wriggle or a slap onto the mat if you need to. Beautiful. And then just come to sit back onto your heels. I know how much that hurts, so I'm very fully aware of how that felt for you guys. So next pose we're going to come into an embryo pose. So in this pose we really want to soften. So belly comes down onto the thighs here, and bring your forehead down onto the mat. And take your arms either side with palms up. Really allow the shoulders to open here. So allow the shoulder blades to act like a curtain on the back, as if you're opening that curtain. Forehead on the mat, making this connection to the earth, maybe opening the third eye slightly.
comfortable, and just take the hands back underneath the shoulders. Nice and easy, lift the head and bring yourself back upright. Take a moment through center. Always just being gentle about how we lift our head up. So for the next pose, you maybe want to grab your prop. You might or might not require it. So we're just going to bring ourselves into a half rock pose. So bring yourself down onto your belly. Beautiful. And then you want to just maybe shift yourself over to one side of your mat, just so that your knee is still on your mat when you come into this pose. And then you're going to bring one knee up. So you want to make sure your alignment is right here. So you want to have your hip and knee aligned and your knee and ankle aligned. So the shin is parallel to the side of the mat and the thigh is parallel to the front of the mat. And then rotate yourself back around so your hips are towards the floor. So the first option is to stay right here in this half rock pose. And the second option is to go a little bit deeper into a twist. So we take the same hand as the leg that is up. So in my case, it's the right knee. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to thread it underneath. So I'm twisting through and coming down onto the right shoulder. This is a beautiful twisting pose. Feels really good in the body. Beautiful, just gently start to lift the head, unravel that arm, take a moment in the center here and then just ease that leg back so you come onto your belly. Take a moment here, maybe coming down, softening through the shoulders. Nice. And then start prepping yourself for the other side. So I'm going to shift our weight over to the other side of the mat. I'm going to bring my other leg up again, making sure I'm in alignment. So shin is in line with the side of the mat and the thigh is in line with the front of the mat. Coming down, rotating through my hips first, and then taking this arm underneath, coming into this twist. Arm is facing up, face is nice and relaxed. This lovely connection of belly to floor helps you become aware of your breath. Just have a few more breaths here. Nice and easy. Start to lift yourself up. Bring your hand back through. Take a moment. Take that leg back. Come on to your belly. Bring yourself down. And just pause in the center here. That really is a nice, delicious pose. Very releasing into the hip. So you want to just make your way now into a pigeon pose. So grab your prop, your cushion or block or whatever it is you are going to use. Place it to one side of your mat so that you can have it underneath your hip here to support. So in pigeon you want to make sure that the knee kind of lines up with the wrist. So that's where you want to start. And the heel wants to line up with the opposite hip. So in my case, I've got my right knee touching my right wrist, my right hip, heel is touching my left hip. And I'm just using this underneath to give me some support. So just folding down. And then when I'm in this position with my forearms down, tucking under my toes, shifting my hips back a little bit here so that I know that I'm in the right position. You want to just wriggling that foot up very slightly, the one that is tucked underneath. Maybe staying on your forearms if that's where you feel you need to go, or maybe folding all the way down. I was always in this practice, just using this time to find some release, but also using the moments to connect to how you're feeling, where you want to go forward or how you want to go forward. You're probably having to make quite a few decisions right now. Just be connected when you make those decisions. Really drop into your heart space and become aware of how you're feeling before you rush into anything. And that's really what that card is saying. Just gently lift the head, lift the hands back slightly, take a moment through center. Beautiful, and then easing yourself towards the back of the mat, maybe coming into a little bit of a child's pose, maybe onto your belly, maybe a downward dog, whatever you feel like your body needs. Take your prop and move it to the other side, if you have a prop. And find ourselves in our pigeon pose on the other side. So this time my left knee is coming across to my left wrist, my left heel is coming across to my right hip. I'm going to start to gently lower myself down, adjust my prop as I need it, so just tucking it under that hip there. And then when I'm kind of down onto my forearms, just tucking under the toes, lifting the hips, setting them back slightly. And then folding down when I'm ready. Perfect, and then just allowing my body to soften here. Connecting to my breath. Making sure my muscles in my face and shoulders and fingers and toes are all relaxed. Into our last 5 or 6 breaths here. Like really nice and deep. Last inhale. And start to lift the head, walk the hands back, take a moment there. Beautiful, and then just release yourself out of that pigeon pose. Maybe just coming again back into a little bit of a child's pose or a cat cow or a down dog or whatever your body feels like it needs. So next we're going to come into a nice open pigeon pose. So starting on the first leg that you did on both the other last poses, we're going to line up the shin with the side of the mat here. Sorry, we're going to line the shin up with the top of the mat, I'll get that right. And then we're going to line up and create this little sort of square shape here. This foot can either be tucked quite far in or a little bit further out, depending on how comfortable it feels in your hips. So you're creating this little sort of space through center here. And grabbing your pillow, cushion, or whatever you have, and just tucking it in here so that you've got some pressure here and something to soften over. And then just bring your hands down onto the mat. So you're going to start right here. So maybe this is enough for you. And you just want to be sitting right here and fairly upright. If it feels good, maybe coming down onto the forearms here. Soften the shoulders. Connect in, drop into the heart space. Soften the features of the face. Relax the toes. your last 5 or 6 breaths. Make them really nice and long, really filling the body with oxygen, slowing down the heart rate, lowering your cortisol levels. Now nice and easy, just start to lift your head. Use your hands to walk yourself up. Take a moment here. Come into center, give the legs a little bit of a shake. Nice. And then let's come to the other side. So again, we're lining up the shin with the top of the mat. Taking the other leg around, creating this little square shape here, finding our cushion or pillow or a prop, whatever we are using, folding over, coming down onto our forearms, or even lower if it feels really nice to you, or if it is too tight on this side, maybe just staying on your hands. Just allowing. So these poses are just gently allowing. We're allowing the muscles to soften and relax. We are allowing our release of pressure. We are losing our resistance, hopefully, or somewhat losing our resistance. Our resistance within the body and the stuff that we hold on to. Always those moments of checking in to make sure we haven't suddenly caught ourselves up in a little game of tension again. Checking in, make sure everything's soft, the neck is soft. It's just in a state of allowing. Beautiful, and start to just lift the head, gently walk the hands back, come into your center space, give the legs a little bit of a shake. Perfect, so now we're going to come into what we know as a double pigeon. So lining up the lower leg, so again go back to the top leg being the first leg, and then just grabbing your cushion, maybe starting up with a prop, maybe easing into a state of no prop. So this one wants to line up. If you're super tight, maybe propping yourself up onto a cushion and lining the shins up. So heels kind of line up with your knees, and you just find yourself with your shins lined up in front. So they are coming alongside the edge of the mat. If you are able to, then taking one on top, I'm going to use my prop here. My hips are feeling very tight, and just lining myself up in my double pigeon like this. So as my hips start to release, I can find myself lowering down a little bit more, maybe taking my prop away. You can have your hands out in front, you can be sitting upright, or you can put a little bit of pressure on here if it feels nice, and just take the elbows down onto the knees and just start to ease into that space. So sometimes it's nice to do a little bit half and half here, so you ease in to the pose with the prop and then take the prop away when you want to go a little bit deeper. So I'll do that with you now if anyone wants to follow that. My hips have got super tight in the last 2 months. I have no explanation other than I've just seized up somewhat, so yeah, it's not surprising considering
the kind of stress that we are all under at the moment. So what I'm going to do here is now I'm just going to gently release my prop and see if I can just lower a little bit more down. There we go. Almost there. I know this is quite a difficult pose for some of you. Just the last couple of breaths. Nice. And just gently lift yourself up, take that top leg off, get the nice gentle release, stretch the legs out towards the end of the mat. And let's come and prep ourselves for the other side. So the other leg going underneath this time. I'm going to bring my prop to one side. I'm going to do half the time with the prop, and I'm going to change it to half the time without, so that I can just slowly get myself into this. And I invite you to do the same if you are feeling a little tight. So lining up, trying to get the heel as much onto the knee as you can do so. And these also line up here. So just find yourself halfway first, if that's what feels like you need to. Maybe you need to keep your prop the whole time. Maybe you need to be sitting on something. We just come into a state of allowing, and we accept where we are. Again, just really connecting to our breath here. The only way to get through some of these harder poses is to breathe. I'm going to allow myself to try and go a little bit deeper here. So moving my prop to one side. You can stay where you are. It's definitely feeling very tight. And just allow myself to drop forward just a little bit here. And if any forcing in these poses, we want our body to do it in its own good time. That's the same as the card is telling you about your decisions. So no forcing, just some kind of allowing and connecting to what you really need and what you really want to do. Just got a few more breaths here. To really breathe deeply into these poses. They are quite intense. Nice, and then just gently lift the head, unravel that top foot, and do so super mindfully. Extend the legs out, give them a little bit of a shake. Ooh. And then we're just going to take a moment. You can come to lie on your back if that feels nice, or find yourself seated, nice, easy, cross-legged, really whatever feels good to you. Wherever you are, just bring your eyes to close and just drop into your center and into your heart space. And take a moment to connect to the meaning of that card and this idea of making decisions going forward based on your needs, maybe the needs of those closest to you, to your dependents and direct family members, but not feeling like you have to. So maybe if you have children of a school-going age and you don't feel like you're ready to send them back, then don't. Or maybe if you feel like you do want to send them back, then do so, but don't do what anyone else is doing. Make the decision for yourself. Same with working from home. If you feel you need to work from home a little bit longer, do so. If you feel you need to get back into working at an office, then listen to what it is your body is trying to tell you. As I've always said, if you listen to the whispers, you won't have to listen to the screams. So take as long as you need here, connecting to that message, and I hope that you feel some release in your body after this class. And thank you so much as always for joining me. Namaste.